All right, welcome into another edition of Wizards WNBA Rundown, brought to you by wizardsportspicks.com. My name is Joey Tron, and I'm going to be going over both of the WNBA games on the slate for Monday, June the 1st. Before we get started, please make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime one of the talented handicappers from Wizard Sports Picks drops a video to this channel. Again, we got two games on the docket for Monday night, and both of these games kick off the Commissioner's Cup, and let's get right into it. First game up is the Seattle Storm taking on the Dallas Wings. Dallas Wings are 11.5-point favorites with a total of roughly 169.5. I personally think this spread is way too high for this Dallas team to cover. I understand, the Wings, they've been one of the hottest teams in the WNBA over the last couple of weeks. They've been beating quality opponents. They're averaging close to 90 points per game on this season. And honestly, they have one of the league's most developed backcourts with Paige Buckers and Ozzie Fu together. Again, my concern is the amount of points that they're laying. 12 points is a lot for me. Seattle's defense has honestly been playing a lot better than their record indicates, and I understand they struggle offensively. However, they are still capable of slowing games down, and in my opinion, they can slow down Dallas enough to stay within this number. I just think Dallas can have an off night shooting, and if they do, it could be bad news for the Wings, and I just think that Dallas might have one of those off shooting nights. They're coming off a big win. This could be a potential letdown spot for them against a undervalued Seattle Storm team. So I personally like the points with the Storm, and I also like the under here as well because I expect a very slow-paced game for Seattle to keep up. Next game up is the Minnesota Lynx taking on the Phoenix Mercury. The Minnesota Lynx are 2.5-point favorites with a total of roughly 167.5. This is the better of the two games, in my opinion, and I'm going with the Lynx here on the spread. Honestly, Minnesota has quietly become one of the league's most competitive teams, and they're doing all this without their star player in Nafisa Kalir. So I can't imagine how good this Lynx team is going to be when she gets back. They're 6-2, even with the injuries that they're dealing with. Their depth may be the biggest factor here. The Mercury just are too over-reliant on Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Cooper, and if those two can't produce against this Lynx defense, it's going to be lights out for Phoenix. Again, I just think defensively as well, Minnesota has been more consistent. They force turnovers, they have the rebounding edge, and they are honestly better at prolonging scoring droughts due to their defensive capabilities. Phoenix, they know they're strong. They're definitely better than their record suggests. They have several losses coming by single digits, but I just don't think this is a good spot for them. The Minnesota Lynx are the much better team. They're more athletic. They have more depth, and most importantly, they have the rebounding edge, which will help us with this close number. I also have a very small lean here to the under as well because I do see this one being a defensive matchup, given it is the Commissioner's Cup. Unfortunately, there was only two games on the docket for Monday night. Again, they were the Seattle Storm taking on the Dallas Wings and the Lynx taking on the Mercury. I like the Storm with the points, as well as the Lynx laying the points in these matchups. Again, like and subscribe. Head on over to wizardsportspicks.com and check out all of our premium selections that we have going on for sale. Let's cash some tickets.